Hello, everybody. I'm Dylan Laxon, the star and writer of this film you're about to watch, and today I'm joined by Mac Laxon.
I am the director, editor, and director of photography of this movie that you are watching right now.
Yes, and today we're doing a commentary on Day 12. Um, a Mac Laxon, you can't see me right now, but I'm doing air quotes, Mac Laxon movie. But, I mean, no, I think it's safe to say this is sort of a joint production. Um, so a lot of you might not know this, but this movie originated as a 5 minute short that we made in 2018. It was kind of like a high school class project I made. It's about 5 minutes long. It was starring me in the same role as the mysterious passenger, and our friend Anath Jacob played played the Uber driver. You can see David Young over there, just kind of wandering in the back over there, not knowing what we're doing in his restaurant. Yes, we shot this in the restaurant owned by David Young and his family. So shout out to those guys.
Yep.
Uh,
They're in the special thanks credits.
Yep,
So.
very gracious of them to let us shoot after hours in their restaurant. No, we did not license that Amy Winehouse song that you hear at the beginning. Uh, okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the original version of this movie was about 5 minutes long. We shot it as a class project. You cannot find it on this channel, right? You'll
No,
find it on our other channel, TWS Gaming. Uh, did this channel just not exist back then, or what?
it was before it became active again with the release of Return of the Killer Teddy Bear. So,
Okay, yeah. So if you're curious about that, watch it on TLBS Gaming. Obviously, I mean it's very in addition to being much shorter, it's very I mean we shot it.
amateur.
Yeah, I mean we shot it with wasn't even a 4K hand
It
cam.
was
It was
4K,
4K.
but
Okay, we shot with
I
our
was just putting the lowest settings due to storage.
yeah. It's rough. It's far less professional than what you're seeing here, but I think it still has its merits. Anyway, so about 4 years later, 2022, Mac over here, for the exact same class project, he decided to make a movie, and so I was still around, and yeah, so we decided to remake Day 12, but a much more expanded, more elaborate version, more dialogue driven. Uh, we wanted to just make kind of like a tense dialogue driven thriller that does not rely on gore and violence and shock value. Where all the tension comes from the words and the performances. And I think the script that I wrote, um, I think is probably the best script that we've had in like we've ever made. I think in any of our movies. This may not be our best movie necessarily, but I think that script was really solid. Um, because yeah, I mean it's for us it's like working with our hands tied, trying to make trying to make something, trying to make a tense movie where we're not allowed to resort to our usual bag of tricks. No stabbings, no guns, or at least no well, one gunshot, but that's about it. you know,
Two gunshots, actually.
two okay, yes, technically two gunshots. We'll get to that later. Um, but yeah, pretty satisfied with how the script was written in terms of the actual execution. Um, well, we'll get into that. I mean, as you're looking right now, I mean, those lights in the background, very, very shaky, out of focus lights in the background. It's like we're flying like in a plane or something. Uh, so, I mean, you probably figure obviously we're not in a real moving car, right? There's a shot in our garage, stationary vehicle. We have just a bunch of Christmas lights in the background being being moved back and forth by our friends. Um, I think if we moved it better, it probably would have helped sell the illusion, uh, made it more believable. I don't know. I mean, how would you do this differently?
Um, I mean, I think the problem is that, for the effect I was trying to get, I think using bigger lights would have achieved the bigger bokeh I was looking for. And I think now I would have just done away with the Christmas lights entirely and just made it a black void.
I mean, the thing is, personally, I think we probably should have just shot it, um, like actual driving. Obviously, it's harder to properly block and film and light stuff when you're actually driving, but I think it would have made
I
it
mean, okay,
much
yeah,
more
I guess for
immersive.
Landon's close ups, we could have done that for actual driving.
Hmm.
It's just for this shot mainly.
Yeah. Um, and
Yeah.
also, as you can probably tell, I mean, obviously, this was all shot in a rush. Was it like 2, 3 total days of shooting? This is probably our at the time. This is like our fastest
I
production.
mean, for the garage parts, but I mean, I know the field stuff and there's still reshoots that came after, so maybe like Actually, no,
Well,
it took 11 days of shooting.
oh, did it?
Total,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, this car alone probably only took like maybe
Yeah,
3 days at most.
yeah.
Sans reshoots. Um, but as usual with our movies, Landon kind of just brought on board last minute. Didn't know his lines a lot of time. We're just kind of like feeding it to him, like, all right, this is your line and action, And so I don't know. It's just kind of lacking
In case you didn't know,
the feeling,
most of our movies do not have a thing called pre-production.
or actors.
Actors.
So a lot of this dialogue, I think it reads well on paper, but the way it's delivered by him and I, yeah, I don't know. It's rough. I mean, I don't think we're like awful necessarily, but at certain points it's very obvious, especially with Landon, because like at some parts he's just reading, like he's just straight up reading off of a laptop, off screen, which again pretty common occurrence in Film Team 6 movies. I promise for our next one we will prep, we will memorize our goddamn lines.
I do not trust that, but we'll see what happens.
Am I reading over here? I don't remember.
That's
Am
your
I reading?
monologue, so yeah.
Okay.
He's literally reading off his phone, which is why I
probably
proposed
reading
to
off the
just
phone.
like cut away to an actual Wikipedia article on the Zone of Death.
I think this is another case where like I think you intended for like a longer like telephoto lens over here, but we was like, yeah, fuck it, just stick to a wide lens that we just did.
That also goes for a lot of our movies. You just stick with wides because it's
and handheld. Although handheld, I mean, I think that's excusable since it's supposed to be in a moving vehicle. This is an interesting true fact, by the way. The Zone of Death. That is a real thing. That we found on Wikipedia.
We just needed a foreboding thing to talk about, to ramble on about.
Okay, I think that line could have been written by some man know who he is, if he just keep
it's
I mean, I get what he's talking about, but
the audience may not.
I think that beat should have been drawn a bit longer. Also, majority of this is ADR, isn't it?
I mean, majority of your lines are ADR. Landon was not.
This is all the live audio.
Okay. Landon, no, yours is ADR. It cuts between ADR and.
I think for a movie like this, which is meant to be more performance driven, I think the ADR really stilts a lot of the performances.
Yeah.
I think Landon gets a very good physical, and later on when we're on the graveside, I think he gives a pretty good emotional performance, considering that
I do believe that the second half of this movie is stronger than the first half.
Agreed. Which is funny because the whole premise of the movie, it's supposed to be so basically how I came up with the premise of Day 12, not the original short. So I was watching the movie 7, right? And there's a scene where John Doe, played by Kevin Spacey, gets dropped off at the police station by a taxi. And so I was kind of wondering, like, what was that cab drive like? What was it like? Because at that scene, he's like covered in blood. He just murdered somebody. And here he's getting dropped off by a public taxi and wondering, like, whoa, how tense must that car ride have been?
By the way, Mickey D's over here has not seen the movie, did not see the movie Collateral.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. At the time I wrote the original film, I did not see the movie Collateral, Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise. Although, I mean, we'd already seen it before shooting this version.
Yeah.
So,
you can
I
see
mean, Michael Mann, very much inspired. I do like this bit over here. That's good. I think setup, reinforcement, and payoff with us mentioning the old antiques, and then him having like the old school gun on him, the very old school, I say, and then it being used later. Those were my hands, by the way, not Landon's. Michael Mann, big influence of this shot. Oh, I guess we should mention shot once again, Blackmagic, pocket cinema camera,
4K,
in anamorphic. Anamorphic lens. Which lenses did we use for this one?
Well, there are different squeeze factors for anamorphic. One is a 1.33 times, one is a 1.8 times. The wide ones were like done on the wide. Yeah, let's just do it shot anamorphic, but with some spherical with the zooms. I mean, insert shots were done with the zoom lens because we were too lazy to bring out our long anamorphic lens because it's big and heavy as shit.
Here's another severe production cut over here. Obviously, we're supposed to be shooting in a wide, vast, open plain. No civilization for several miles, but we're just in some random empty lot in the neighborhood. We tried shooting it as much as possible to make it look like we're kind of like, isolated. Well, that's why we're on when we're on the field. We can't get too wide because we would just be showing there's like houses right next to us. So literally none of this is possible. That's a good friend of mine, Janelle Algara. No, she
Yeah.
did not know that her photo was being used as the missing dead girl in this one. Where's this music from?
Um, the video game Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain. Yeah. Very clearly not not actually shoveling anything.
Oh
Again,
no.
not her lot, not her property. I
Yeah.
think we were just illegally filming there.
Yeah.
We were just illegally filming there, so we're like, okay, I guess you know, we can't dig too deep a hole in this lot is ours. Like we got to do this quick before the before the village police find us. This is, I think, where Landon's performance actually. I think he actually bothered to rehearse his lines and kind of memorize
Oh,
them
yeah, because
before
we
he
actually went to his house at first and rehearsed somewhat all his
Mhm.
lines.
There was actual rehearsals here, which
Yeah.
I think is why Landon's actually really good in this scene. Well, not that I have much to do, but I think the way I'm shot and lit leaves a lot to be desired. I'm also wearing I'm wearing heels, or I'm tiptoeing here, just because Landon is like this, 6 foot, like 200 pounds of pure muscle guy, and I'm like, I'm 5'10" and like and like skinny fat. So there's no way in hell that I would seem like imposing to Landon in any way. That's why, like, all right, my character, keep him in shadows, light him super scary. I don't think the effect quite worked. The framing over here with my weird JFK hair. I don't know what my hair is doing over here and why I'm framed to look so short. Something where did we shoot this? Did we shoot this in our backyard? Or
No,
did we
this
shoot...
is all on the same day.
Okay,
Same
well that makes
day.
sense. Why we rushed through all of it.
Yeah, and it actually began to drizzle on this
I
day
look like
too.
friggin' Eraserhead. Oh, it started raining.
And like, I mean, like when we were done, we were supposed to shoot like the whole revolver bit, but
Mm.
it started raining, so we had to ditch.
In one draft of the script, I think this is probably the only creative clash we had in this movie. Uh, Mac originally wanted. I mean, at some point when Landon gets his gun out, he wanted Landon to kind of aim it at me and actually fire it, but it would be out of bullets. But I thought it would be kind of out of character, kind of out of character for Landon, who's supposed to be like this, this scared college student who's never killed anybody, at least not on purpose. And then we kind of had like originally planned like a chase shootout over here, like a chase shooting again with a Michael Mann influence. But I don't know. Did I shut that down, or did we just run out of time?
Now you shut it down.
I shut it down. Okay,
Yeah.
well I'm glad I did, because
I
again
mean,
I think it would have been needlessly.
Yeah, so I guess it's carried over to another script of mine. So,
What's yours that?
confidential.
Okay. Oh wow, that switch to ADR was pretty seamless, I'd say.
Well, yeah, I did my best.
Yeah, there's just something off about my character. Like I can't pinpoint it as being like, I don't know. Is it my hair? Is it my outfit? It's just like, it's just something off. Boom, boom. And well, there's her chasing right there, folks. All 2 seconds of it, but that's okay because I think, in my opinion, it led to a much more impactful. This bit I liked over here, despite the blood already being on the mirror. Boom. But yeah, that's why I think it makes like the 2 gunshots we hear in the entire movie much more impactful. I think the fact that they're used so sparingly. Yeah. And then this song, it's Glenn Gould. Uh,
Bach.
was it Bach?
Cover.
Yeah. Popularizing the movie The House That Jack Built. Honestly, there's no real reason we used to do. That's a good effect. Probably one for better
Gore.
one for better prosthetic
All
gore
that with a
effects.
styrofoam head.
Yep, styrofoam head. Put a wig in it. kind of like drilled a little hole, filled it up with fake blood, and we put like a real bullet inside.
Still in the shell.
Still in its casing. This is why, like, yeah, I remove it real quick so you don't really notice. But if you slow it down, you can see the bullet is still in its casing. There's a bit of black comedy over here. I did think it was a little cheesy that his eyes were still open. At least, like, open like that. I think they should have been, like, a bit more closed. Like we see in this shot over here. Not this shot. Yeah, that shot. I think that's kind of what his eyes should have been more like. So a lot of the passengers' getaway plan doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Oh, this is probably one of her best shots, like in Film Team 6 history right here. Michael Mann's advice, wet streets. You get extra lighting.
Yeah, it's completely coincidental. It originally was supposed to be clear. I mean, like, not raining, clear skies, and when it started raining, Mickey Diesel was considering canceling the shoot, but I just said, go on with it.
Literally none of our range shoots are ever planned. Yeah. We just kind of wait for it. And we're in the Philippines, so it's kind of like a coin toss as to whether it's going to rain or not. Anyways, a lot of the passengers' getaway plan doesn't seem to make a lot of sense at face value. Because, like, yeah, obviously they're going to notice, like, well, he extracted one bullet, but, like, the second bullet he fires in might not line up with the first shot. He doesn't intend for it to be solid evidence. I think he more of intends for it to kind of confuse the police and throw them off of his trail. At least long enough for him to get away. This moment over here kind of symbolizes he's not some kind of vigilante who's seeking justice for the dead girl. He doesn't give a fuck about her. He just saw, well, one, a place to kind of plant his evidence, from the previous murder at the start of the restaurant. Kind of a place for him to plant his evidence over. And just because he found it fun, just to taunt this driver. None of it was staged, none of it was planned. He doesn't care about this girl over here. It was just another Tuesday night to him. It's just the end. I think at some point we did consider doing other shorts with this character.
You considered doing
I considered it, yeah. Well, that's the end over here. We're listening to Carlita, what is the from? Carlita's Way soundtrack. Thank you for listening, everybody.
We'll see you in the next one. Like and subscribe.